What would be a funny thing to say to a surgeon before anesthesia kicks in 5 seconds later? Related. Penjalet told a story of someone he knows in the medical field who would count with a patient as they go under. The same person would be there as the patient regains consciousness and would continue counting from where they left off. Last thing I remember saying before a minor surgery, I know what you're trying to do to me, and it's not gonna work. Did it work? It worked. Oops. I had seen 2 orthopedists for my seriously broken ankle. One was nice and pretty quiet, but the other one was an obnoxious smartass. I really liked him. I thought the quiet one was doing my surgery, but I was just about to go under when I saw this face looming over me. He was wearing a surgical mask, but I saw the mischievous blue eyes and said, "Oops, it's you." He responded with a maniacal laugh, and next thing I knew I woke up feeling like I was about to puke. Wake me up if I die. If I die, I'll kill you. If I live, you are forgiven. I was having my wisdom teeth removed, and as they were knocking me out they had set me up to the heart rate monitor. I then started playing with it by changing my breathing rate, making it beep faster and slowing down. Last thing I remembered was the nurse asking if I was okay, and I replied, "Yeah, just playing with the heart rate monitor." Mid-sentence I had knocked out, and when I came back to, I was finishing what I was saying, but then realized I was in another room and had no memory of sleeping, so I suddenly screamed. I teleported bread. How much? I have done nothing but teleport bread for 3 days. Man, it's sad how few TF2 references come up these days. I was going on for brain surgery. They had given me the injection about a half hour before wheeling me into the OR, so I was pretty loopy when we got there. There was like 15 people in scrubs waiting. My wife reassured me, "Look, there's a whole army of people here to take care of you." I replied, "Oh no, how are we going to feed them?" "We'll be feeding them for the next couple years, one payment at a time." I laughed at your joke, but it only cost me $500 out of pocket. When I was diagnosed I was eligible for Cobra, which I wasn't initially going to get. So $50k worth of surgery cost me $300 for a month of Cobra, $200 copay. And if the situation escalates, do you get to upgrade to Hydra? His head would get cut off and then regrow. I had to go in for a colonoscopy, the awesomeness of getting old. As I was about to go under, I looked at the doctor and said safe word as waffle. He laughed, then I was out cold. Didn't know the doctor was behind me when he went to put the lube around my butt. It startled me, and I told him I don't usually let that happen until the 3rd date, then I went out. Last time I saw him 3rd visit, as I was leaving, he goes, "Can't wait to see what happens on the 4th date." I was laughing all the way to my car. They hear this one a lot. The proctologist version of it didn't scan, so it's free, right? When I had my tonsils removed, my mom told me, I said, "Where did all these spiders come from?" Just like, out of nowhere a bit, before I passed out. This was post-surgery, and I don't even remember doing this. When I woke up, I immediately started yelling agua. Agua. I don't speak Spanish. The nurse finally understood and asked me, "Do you mean water?" And I shouted back, "No, agua." Just keep changing languages. You mean water? Neen. Wasa. It will wasa unbrotanzaka. The surgical nurses were laughing at something while I was wheeled in. So I said, "Wow, sounds like a party in here. I guess I'm the Peter." I heard laughter as I blacked out. I better have both my testicles when I wake up. I only have one testicle, so it would also be funny afterward. Obnoxious edit. I find it absolutely brilliant that my most upvoted comment is about my 1/2 empty ballsack. To answer some fact. No, I'm not Hitler. I didn't even know he was a fellow uninit until I was informed 47 times. I'm not aware of any sort of list or registry that we are all on. It isn't their Beck or Sid was cut out. I had testicular cancer as a really young child, and back in the early 80s they would just lop them off. I was lucky to have a mom who fondled my balls often. Apparently. Yes, you can have kids with only one. I have 2. One wasn't even on purpose. And my loads seem normal. About what I have seen on Amatips. I ain't throwing rope though. No, it has never affected my sex life in any way whatsoever. I was a bit of a man whore for several years, and usually casual hookups didn't notice. and long-term girls were usually fascinated and wanted to play with my ball. So really a bonus. That about covers it. Hopefully you are all a little more knowledgeable about the genitally mutilated. A man is recovering from surgery after a car crash, and he notices that both his hands are covered in casts. When a nurse comes to check on him, he asks, will I be able to play piano after this? Yes. The casts should come off in a few weeks. Then you should be able to play. That's funny. I couldn't play piano before the accident. I think this may literally be the oldest doctor surgery joke. I've heard it as, will I be able to play violin? I wonder if it dates to the 1800s minus the car crash part. Truly a classic. And it still makes me smile. I remember telling the nurse I don't feel woozy at all, stop chatting and operate. Thank God I fell asleep straight after that. Yeah, I never feel sleepy. It's like awake. How did I get here? Same. I was asked to lay down and put my arm out. Then I got a mask on me. Anesthetist says it's just oxygen. Breathe. My first thought after a breath, that is not oxygen. Then I woke up with a bleeding mouth. True story. Had a few brain surgeries, but before the last one the anesthesiologist didn't properly secure my mask, so I wasn't falling asleep. I was tripping out on fentanyl and just sat up and looked around. The doctors all surprised quickly because I'm supposed to be sleeping, so they come over to fix the mask. I stop them and say again, I'm tripping out on meds. Guys, wait, I'm serious here. Don't sup. And then I start belly laughing as hard as I ever had. I even had my brain surgeon laughing himself to tears. I mean, you were justified in saying that. They were operating on a rather important organ. According to the brain is the most important organ. Wait. Oops. They're self-aware now. Wait a second. Our brains have become self-aware, but we are our brains. So if they became self-aware, then that means we became self-aware. But we were already self-aware, so that must mean we've now entered the previously undiscovered second level of self-awareness. Easy hoss. Just means they were already self-aware. Before I went under I slurred. One of you's gonna have to drive. I'm sup. Brought the house down. Edit. I don't say y'all. I'm not from Oklahoma. I'm also not from Philly. Use is technically correct. One of you is going to. But also I was slurring pretty hard. At least you know you're a responsible drinker, even while high as balls. When my 6-year-old was waiting for minor surgery, tripping hard on her meds, she suddenly sat up and pointed at a guy with a laundry cart and said, "What is that giant cat doing?" I woke up after the anesthesia and I remember the nurses laughing at me because I thought I was the medic in Saving Private Ryan. What did I say? Morphine. I've been hit. I was in the hospital at 2 AM waiting for emergency surgery. A doctor comes up to me apologizing, saying she didn't see the text and that's why she took so long to get here. I didn't even know we were waiting for someone. I asked her what her role was. She said she was the anesthesiologist. I told her, you know, they were talking about doing the operation without you, but I told him to wait. True story. I was doing my clinical rounds for RN school at a surgical center. We saw a lot of colonoscopies that day. The very last one was a young 36-ish. He was really timid about having nursing students watch his procedure, but the doctor assured him we would be professional, and he said okay. Anesthesia was pushed in, and they were rolling him on his side to start sticking the camera up his butt, when he whips around saying, wait. Looks at us, me, and another student nurse and says, "My wife says I have an ass like a cherry." We hold our laughs in. Nurses turn him back around. Again he whips around. Wait. Points at me with a shooting gun finger and says, "Very cool. I'll see you inks up my butt the roll." Then passes out. The doc busted out laughing, and so did we. I like to tell that story to anyone that's going to get a colonoscopy, haha. Last time I got one, I also got an endoscopy at the same time. The last thing I remember is the nurse saying, "You look like corn on the cob," skewered like that. It was the fumiest thing I ever heard, and then I blinked and was in recovery. When I was going in for a hernia surgery, the hospital had a practice of asking you to confirm your name, birthday, and reason you're here multiple times before you go under. The last time they asked as the anesthesiologist held the mask, I replied surgical male enhancement, to which she laughed and put the mask on anyways. Fun fact, This is the WHO surgical safety checklist. Although it seems excessive, when it was trialed it reduced major incidences and near misses wrong patient, wrong procedure, wrong side etc by 30%. I had to have 2 operations, and both times they marked the correct leg with massive arrows drawn in Sharpie. Guess it's to make sure they remember when you're under and can't answer questions. Eye operations here. Sure enough, big arrow points to eye to be operated on. First thought is you're kidding. Second thought is, actually, yeah, good idea. I woke up very groggily from surgery to the nurse saying you're about to be discharged. Sweetie. My croaking response, is it an honorable discharge? Well, it wasn't before surgery. It was afterwards. I woke up with a tube coming out of my stomach, and I was feeling super gross. They kept a sick bag next to the bed in case I vomited, but I decided that it looked more like a pope hat than a sick bag. So drugged up me decided to wear it on my head and bless everyone that interacted with me. Now I can't stop thinking about a kid assuming you were a kid blessing everyone that crosses his path. It shouldn't be as funny as it is. I was a kid, haha, like 12. My mum told me that I started sentences with yes, my child, or I told people to do their Hail Marys. Goddammit, I'm holding in my auger right now. I have a lecture at the moment and it is very inconvenient. Haha, well may God be with you in this time of need. I just want to tell you both, good luck, we're all counting on you. Then wake up 10 minutes into the surgery and say it again. Then say it a third time when it's over. I was getting surgery and was awake being wheeled into the OR. At the time I was a younger kid who loved Mario Kart, so when my gurney started getting pushed down the hall I sat up, held my hands like a steering wheel, said it's a me, Mario. And then made driving sound effects all the way to the OR, where my surgeon burst out laughing seeing me wheeled in like that. I did something similar. Drugged out of, I thought I was in NASCAR. I was shifting, and even pressing the clutch. It came accompanied by many a fast car noises. Squealing tires were a must when we turned.